in terms of getting closer to God, you need to understand something, that when God is in your life, everything just seems to fall in place. It may seem like maybe timing's off. You could say, why did this happen at this time? Or why hasn't this been accomplished yet? And it's all in God's timing and in timeline, because we as individuals could want something to happen now. And that's the problem with people. Everyone as an individual is very selfish. We all want something right now, but we never want to sit and wait for something to happen in life. And that's something which we actually need to learn to understand, because as everyone says, and that term says, that great things come with good time. And it's very true and it's very factual when you look at things, because you look at yourself as a man, you go through hardship, you go through difficulties. No one is just born with knowledge. Something is learned, and that takes time. It's the exact same thing with God. God looks at you and he goes, you can have something, but only when you deserve it and when you've worked hard for it. So in terms of God's timeline, you need to learn to be patient and to understand. But that doesn't mean that you can't sit there every single day and do nothing. You have to get up, you have to graft, you have to do the things which you need to do as a man and as a woman and as just an individual. It's not just put down to gender base. It's put down to every person that needs to understand God's timing is the right timing. Your timing is wrong. Anything to do with you and what you believe is most likely wrong, and it's most likely not going to work out. That's why many people go through heartbreaks and pain, men and women. They will go through a relationship, and in that relationship they say, no, this is the right one. This person's the right one. And most of the time it could be the right person, but timing is everything. And if you do not have trust in God's timing, simply the likelihood of working it out is very, very minimalistic.
How does God affect your life, and how does He affect your everyday life?
So you need to understand, a godless life is a life which has many trials and tribulations. So it is a life with Christ and with God. You got many trials and tribulations. But it simply boils down to the fact that when God is a part of your life, life becomes a lot easier. A lot of strain gets taken off your shoulders because you lay at His feet and He takes over from you and He helps you and He is there to comfort you. And you can look at your life as a total, and one day you can sit when you're old and you can say, what did I accomplish and what are the things which I've done to benefit others and to help other people? And simply just because God is a part of your life makes a big difference. Because if you're striving to be a Christian and to be like God, because we can never be God, but you can be like God. If you're pushing in that direction, well then simply your morals, your inspirations, and your everyday life changes simply because you try to do things to not only benefit yourself. That aspect of you being selfish and doing everything for yourself starts to fall away. It starts to become less because you try to push and become more like Him. And I think that's something beautiful which people need to learn and understand. That when you become a Christian and that when you start to follow God, everything else of worldly aspects disintegrates and it falls away. And you need to understand that your life with God is not an easy one, but it simply is beneficial to you as an individual, and you will only start to see it over time, over a certain duration.
What are you the product of?
You can sit here and question yourself. Many people do it every day. What you're the product of, what's your destiny, what's your purpose over here. But I think many people try too hard to figure out what their purpose is instead of just getting up every day and doing what's right. And I think over a gradual period of time, if you start to do what's right and you start to try to follow in the footsteps of God and not so much into worldly things, and you stay out of the habits such as hedonism, then you start to realize that life changes and your so-called destination starts to develop in terms of, and what I'm trying to explain is, you look at your life and you do things on a daily basis. The only thing you have is time. The sun rises, the sun sets. You wake up the next day, you never know when your death's coming, you never know when your time ends. So you need to look at it from the aspect of, even if I do not know my purpose here on earth, simply by doing the exact same thing every single day is not going to get you there. By doing something which steps out of your comfort zone to help people or to give that little bit of inspiration or to just tell someone, listen, you're beautiful, you're loved by God, you're loved by Christ, that automatically will start to develop a path. And even though you won't know your true path and your true perfection of where you want to be in life, heading in that direction is still the right place to go.
I fear God, not His creation.
So when I say I fear God and not His creation, that simply means that God is obviously the all. He is the one that created humans. He is the one that created the universe. And to have fear of such things as worldly creations, I think isn't necessary. I think you have to fear your creation, and even you regarding satanistic things. When you are fearing satanistic things and objects and spirits, isn't it that you're in fear of something which God created? So, what is the point of fearing something when your master and your creator has created that person? I think the only person that you should fear is God, not man or nothing else in this world.